we'll get started for today's session since it's 5 minutes into 3 o'clock. So thanks again, everyone, to those who have taken the time to join us today. Just some housekeeping before we get started. This webinar is actually recorded, but not to worry, your information is confidential and will only be shared on our YouTube page. If you do have any questions, do type them in the Q&A box as indicated by the orange arrow. And but if you want to ask any questions verbally, do raise your hands and we'll give you permission to talk. There's actually a small group here today with us, so feel free to unmute yourself, raise your hand when we'll give you the permission. We are launching poll questions throughout the session. We will also have a quiz in the middle, towards the end of the session, just to make it more interactive. There is a survey as well at the end of the session to understand your feedback from the session. And lastly, of course, for those who are attending this session, you are eligible for free 1-hour HR consulting. So do let us know if you are interested in that. So that is catering to your specific needs. So without further ado, I will hand over the time to Maurice here. Over to you, Maurice.
Thank you, Diti. I hope you can hear me loud and clear.
Yes, we can.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to my webinar. Today, we are going to talk about getting compensation right. But before I jump into my webinar, let me give you a little bit of introduction about myself. I have been a HR practitioner for more than 38 years in the corporate life. My last position was a HR director about 5 years ago, looking after the Asia Pacific region before I crossed over to become HR consultant and have been exposed in the region as well as Singapore, giving HR consulting services to small, medium-sized organizations. So in terms of my expertise, I'm a journalist, and I'm very hands-on, knowing about the application, the HR operation, as well as the strategic side of HR. There are many companies that I work for are multinationals. Some of them are US multinationals, some are European. So I have a vast knowledge of HR experience. Now today, about getting compensation right, I'll be talking about the components of compensation in the compensation system, how you determine the base salary when you hire someone, a little bit about incentive scheme, and flexible wage system, which Singapore government has been advocating, and finally, how we in NuSmart we can help you in your HR. And then we will have the Q&A session. But before I start the compensation, I'd like to talk a little bit about NuSmart for those who are joining us for the first time. For our repeated participants, please bear with me for a few minutes. NuSmart is part of NuVista, which was established in 2002. NuVista is a leading provider of cloud-based integrated IT solution. They have been NetSuite partners since 2012, and to date, they have more than 100 plus implementation across more than 10 countries in Southeast Asia as well as Middle East. In 2015, NuVista started NuSmart, which is a HR management system running on NetSuite platform. It's a cloud-based, and to date, we have more than 30 customers that are using our HRMS across 10 countries. Our HRMS is a complete suite of HR modules comprising of recruitment, payroll, attendance, leave management, training, performance management, expense claim, asset management. All these modules are our own develop, okay, and it's not part of a partnership with another vendors like many others HRMS vendors. Our various modules are available on web portal as well as mobile and tablets, both iOS and Android. So this is our strength because we have a complete suite of HR modules. Besides providing HR management system to our clients, we also do HR consulting and payroll outsourcing. So for those of you who are interested in any of our services, please do not hesitate to reach out to us, either to Uditi or myself. We'll be happy to help you. Now, let's come back to our webinar properly. So what I want to talk about are the components of compensation system. Well, in every company, compensation is very important, and it's a way where employer rewards employees for the work they perform. And as you know, compensation is a very significant cost contributor to the company. It forms a big part of the cost of goods sold. And if it's not managed properly, it could lead to a company downfall. So it is very important for HR people to understand more about compensation and how to manage it well. Many people think compensation is just base salary, the salary for workers, the salary for employees. Well, no, compensation is more than that. Okay? And the objective of compensation is to attract, motivate, reward, and retain employees in the organization. Of course, it alone itself will not achieve the objective of attracting, motivating, rewarding, and retaining. It has to go with the other factors in the organization, such as job responsibility, challenges, growth, opportunity, working environment, the team itself, company culture, and many others in order to be effective. As I've mentioned, compensation is not just basic salary, it comprises of many others. So in terms of compensation components, we have the direct, which includes salary, fixed allowance, such as your monthly transport allowances or mobile phone allowances, things like that, as well as incentive. Okay, commission is one of incentive, salary increases, bonuses, etc. And then on the other side, we have the indirect compensation, which basically is given to employees, such as paid time off, your annual leave, sick leave. Protection plan will include medical benefits, insurance benefits, and then other fringe benefits, okay, such as parental care, birthday gifts, recreation activities, memberships, etc. So when we look at compensation, we are looking at a variety of items. And all this, if it's not properly managed, can be crucial to the company's profitability. So let me ask you, these are the various components of compensation: the base salary, allowances, incentive, bonuses, benefits. I would like you to take, okay, I'm going to launch a poll now, and please take what do you think, okay, is the right category of each of these components. For example, base salary, is it mandatory? Is it discretionary? Okay. Is it fixed or is it variable? Mandatory means compulsory. You have to give it to the employees. Discretionary is, depend on your position or the management discretion. Fixed here we means it's given every month. Variable, it depends whether you work for it, or you earn it, and so forth. So some of these components may have fall into more than one category. So please go ahead, take a look at the various category and tick it. What do you think? Is it compulsory, required by law? Is it discretionary of management? Is it fixed every month? Or is it variable? Okay, let's look at the results. If you have finished, whether you got it right. Well, base salary is mandatory. Okay. Allowances is fixed. Incentive is discretionary and variable. Bonus is discretionary and variable. Benefits is fixed and variable. Okay. Quite closed. Okay. The correct answer is, okay, base salary is mandatory. Everybody has to have a salary and it's fixed every month. All right. It's not only compulsory, but it's fixed. You get a fixed salary every month. Unless you are paid by piece rate. Allowance, okay, it can be mandatory, such as overtime. It's for those falls under the Employment Act, certain allowance, you're entitled to overtime allowance. So as long as you work, they must give it to you. But sometimes allowance can also be discretionary, depending on company or management decision. They may give salespeople transport allowance, mobile phone allowance, and not the other employees. Some of these allowance can be fixed, such as allowances for the salespeople, transport, mobile phone, that can be fixed every month. But some allowance, like overtime and others, could be variable, okay, depending if you work for it. If you work overtime, you get overtime payment or overtime allowance. If you don't work overtime, you don't get it. Incentive, some incentive can be discretionary. Okay. Almost incentive are discretionary, and some of them are fixed, some are variable. So when I talk about fixed, so things like commission, some salespeople are not only paid with salary, but also with commission. And their commission is fixed every month. As long as they meet the target, they sell certain products, they will get their commission. But certain incentive, like bonuses and so forth, are variable. It depends on company performance. Okay. Bonuses is discretionary and is variable. Benefits can be mandatory, can be discretionary, and it can be fixed. Okay. Certain benefits are required by law, such as annual leave, sick leave, maternity leave. These are our medical expenses, reimbursement, and so forth. These are all required by law. But some of the benefits are discretionary, and some of the benefits are fixed, like annual leave are fixed. You get annual leave every year, sick leave every year, and some are even fixed, 14 days sick leave every year. So this is a different category of compensation. To understand it so that you will know how to play around with it. So in a compensation system in the company, you need to have all these components. You cannot just have base salary in your company because it is fixed, okay? And it will increase year after year. It will add on more cost to your company. So it's important that in your company, you should have a balance between some of the fixed compensation components and some should be variable. In this way, you will not add additional costs, overhead costs to the company. So before I proceed, any question from the audience before I move on? If you have, please raise your hand or type your question in the chat box. All right. If not, then I will carry on to the next. Okay, how you determine base salary. So when you hire someone and you decided to give a base salary to the employees, to the new hire, how much should be his salary or her salary? Well, a lot depends on the company philosophy, your company compensation philosophy, what the companies decide to pay. All right. Some companies believe in following the market, make sure they pay according to the market rate. Some companies may decide to pay above the market rate. All right. So it all depends on the company philosophy. It also depends on equity, both internal and external. So internally, we compare among the people in the similar position. So if you are going to hire a salesperson, we will look at the other people, other salespeople salary, and make sure that this new hire are in line and not too far ahead, okay? As well as also the market, other salespeople in competitor companies and so forth. So internal and external equity. We will also look very much on the person KSA. KSA stands for knowledge, skills, and ability. So here, this is the main factor that we look at when we're looking at the base salary. What is the person competency, the years of experience, his past performance and conduct? What can he or she brings to the company? If that guy or person can bring a lot of things to the company and help increase the company's bottom line, profitability, then of course, we will command a higher salary, base salary. So a person abilities, experience is one of the most critical factors. Okay. So it is not only just on the person, we also look at the company philosophy, we also look at the internal and external equity. Now, as I mentioned about just now, company philosophy, whether the companies want to follow the market, okay, pay according to the market rate, or they want to lead the market. So lead the market means be ahead, be the leader, pay above the market rate. I was working for a European company many years ago, and we do have a logistics center in Singapore. And this logistics center is very crucial. It supplies all the our company product to the Asia region. So we employ a few hundred warehouse people. And to ensure that our products are distributed to all our sales officers, to our customer in the region, Asia region, we need to have a very stable workforce in the logistics center. And the business unit head decided that our people there should be paid more than the market. And we did that. Okay, we did that, and we find that there are very little staff turnover. Many people stay with the company because they get good salary. Their base salary are way ahead other logistic company. So they tend to stay back with the company, even though the other departments in the company are not using lead the market. The rest of the other departments like finance, HR, sales, etc., those departments, their compensation strategy was follow the market. So we can have different strategy, okay, for different areas of the business, depending on how crucial is the business area. Lag the market means falling behind the market. You don't even follow the market. You pay lesser than the market. So sometimes, okay, you ask, is this possible? If you pay less than the market, will people still join your company? Well, it all depends. Some companies may pay a little bit lesser than the market, but they have very good benefits and work environment. I remember long time ago, okay, in the 1980s, SIA tends to pay below the market rate. Their salary wasn't very competitive, but they have something that attract many people to go and work for them and stay with them. And that is free air ticket every year to any destination in the world. Okay. So that attraction, okay, brings a lot of people wanting to work for SIA. But of course, today, that benefit is gone, and their compensation system is now follow the market. Okay. So this is sometimes company do if they have very good work environment, okay, then they can lag the market. But there are some companies who do lead lag the market. Okay. Lead lag the market means you lead the market initially, you're ahead of the market, and as the person continue to work with the companies, the salary become lower and lower until it falls below the market rate. Okay. So that's called lead lag. Unfortunately, there are not many companies that practice this scenario. Okay. Most of them is either follow the market, which is the most common, if not either lead or lag the market. So which is the best? It all depends on your company. I cannot say you must lead the market, that will be the best. No. Okay. So it all depends on your company strategy, on what you're looking at, and how you develop your compensation system. Now, when you're developing a compensation system, one of the things that you have to look at is market study. You have to compare your company's employee salaries against the market. You need to take a look at the salary surveys report and then studies the salaries there against your company's employee salary. Many of us, in the past will buy salary surveys from salary compensation vendors like Watson's, Muscles, okay, SNEF, etc. All right. Today, with the internet, you can always get free salary surveys reports from even recruitment agency like Hayes, Robert Waters, okay, and so forth. All right. Many others recruitment agencies, they also do publish salary surveys report. But please be careful when you are looking at all those salaries in the report against your own employee salary. Okay. Many a time, HR do not look into the following factors. They just decide to take the salary from the salary report, which then may not be accurate. When we look at the salary report, we must first understand the following things. Okay. The geographical location. Okay. Of course, Singapore is pretty small, so this is not a major factor. But in terms of Malaysia, in terms of China, US, or Europe, any country in Europe which are big with major cities, then the salary in major city may differ a lot from the second tier or third tier city, or even from a small village, a small town. All right. The industrial sector is also very important. Some industries are weak and may not pay well. Some industries are booming and they may be paying very well. So the type of industry needs to be recognized, because sometimes when you're comparing a finance manager, a HR person, and these people can come from different industry. For those who are working in the fintech industry, they may be paid much better than those HR people working in the factories, in the industrial estates. The next thing we also have to look at is the organization size, whether they are large multinationals with deep pockets that they can pay well, or are they a startup which is struggling to find a foothold, or is it a growing company with a lot of investors who then may be able to pay very well. So organization size and organization business cycle is also critical. You need to understand. Company branding, the name of the company, play an important part. For example, whether you want to work for Google, Amazon, SAP, OCBC, DBS, etc. So all these companies, big names, may not pay pretty well, but they are stable, they have good working environment, a lot of opportunities, etc. So some people may be attracted to those. Sometimes could be union pressure that brings up the salary and so forth. So when you look at salary report, please bear in mind all these factors. Do compare apple against apple. And of course, in many organizations, they just give you the title, HR manager, finance manager. Well, a finance manager in a small organization may have to do everything. from bookkeeping to data entry to preparing of final reports, okay, and coming up with all the accounting statements and so forth, P&L, balance sheet, etc. The whole set of books. All right, but another person, finance manager working for a multinational, she may not be involved in all this. She may be only involved in credit control. One small part, okay, one small area. But in terms of the volume of work is different, it's huge, okay? While those involved in the small organization, the volume is very low, but they have to do every area. So when you compare a finance manager, you have to look at the job description, the job responsibility, what is involved, and so forth, before you decided, what should be paid. So when you are looking at external equity, when you're comparing against salary surveys, please be very careful. Try to compare apple with apple. You may not be doing green apple with green apple, but it's, as long as apple, green apple and red apple is okay, right? But be as accurate as possible, because that is very important. You make a mistake, it can lead to happiness of employee or unhappiness of the employee. All right. So be very careful. Of course, when you get all the salary data from surveys compared, it's important that as a HR person, you set up salary ranges in your company. All right, because without salary ranges, salary can get increased year after year. And over time, people may be paid too much for the work that they are doing. Okay, so it's important to do a job evaluation to find out what is the job worth, job value of the job, okay, and pay accordingly. So assuming the work of a HR or a receptionist, okay, is to do certain things. And if there are no added responsibility, maybe the maximum salary that a receptionist can get could be 4,000, 3,000 to 4,000 a month maximum. If you keep staying with the company year after year, giving an average performance, okay, the maximum receptionist can earn could be around $4,000 maximum. If you pay a receptionist $8,000 for the same kind of work with no added responsibility, then you're overpaying the receptionist, and that could be bad for the company. All right, so it's important to have a cap, okay, depending on the job worth of each job. So salary ranges are always determined by the market rate, and salary ranges will comprise of a minimum salary, the starting point, the lowest for the job, the midpoint, that's where the middle of the salary range, the maximum that you can go, and thereafter it will be capped. And then between the midpoint and the maximum, that is the range spread, right? So it's important as HR person, you need to set up salary ranges to control your salary cost, okay, your wage cost. So it is always recommended that the salary spread, the range spread between the minimum and the maximum should be about 1.5 to 2 times. So if your minimum is 1,000, okay, then your maximum will be 1,500 or 2,000. Okay, 2 times. So that's how it works. All right. And the market rate, okay, where it should be will depend on your company philosophy, whether you want to be lead the market, lag the market, or follow the market. All right. So if you follow the market, then the market rate should be the midpoint. Okay. So if you take the market rate of a HR manager and it says that, okay, the market rate is $5,000, okay, on the average among all the various companies, you take it out, you take a look at the mean and it comes out to be 5,000. So your midpoint for your salary range for HR manager is 5,000. Okay, if you want to follow the market. But if you say, I want to lead the market, okay, then your 5,000 will be somewhere below between the minimum and the midpoint. It will not be the midpoint. It could be at the, okay. So this is 100. So this is could be maybe about 90. Okay, because the lowest, the minimum is 80. All right, so it could be somewhere around 90 instead of 100. All right, but if you want to lag the market, then it will be the other way around. Okay, your 5,000 will be near to your maximum because your maximum will be 120%, so it could be 110. Okay, so this is how you position your market rate. Okay, most of the time we follow the market, so it will be exactly at the midpoint, 100%. Okay. Now, compo ratio is another term that is very commonly used in compensation. And compo ratio is looking at the employee's salary against the midpoint of the salary range. So if I say that you are 100%, okay, on the compo ratio, means you are exactly at the midpoint. Okay. But if you are only about 80%, okay, your compo ratio is about 80%, means you are way below the midpoint. Okay, you are towards the minimum. And this is because you could be new, you could be inexperienced, or you are a poor performer. Right? So for those who are somewhere between the minimum and the midpoint, these are people who are not very good, below average performer, or people with some experience. Those who are 100%, near to 100%, 100, okay, 95 to 105, you are the average performer. You're competent, experienced, okay, and competent, okay, average performer. But if you're above 105, okay, 103 to 120 to the maximum, you are very competent, excellent performer, or you're very experienced. Okay, you are able to do the job very well and have been with the company a long time. Okay. So for those who hit the maximum, what do you do? Okay, as a HR person, these people will no longer get any increment. Okay, if they perform very well, maybe they can get a bigger bonus, okay, but no increment for that because they have already deserved what they should be paid for doing that kind of work. If they want to earn more, they want to get increases, then they should add new responsibility, expand their job scope, take on new responsibility, take on new things to do, or get promoted to the next level. They have to go for development and so forth. So it's all depend on the employee. All right. So any question before I go on? Anybody have any question? Right. If not, then I'll carry on a little bit about incentive scheme. Okay, there are various incentive schemes. We have the individual, such as merit increase, commission, stock option, awards. etc. So these are given to individual people for good performance. So incentive is usually something to drive performance. It's very much related to performance. There are sometimes group or team award or incentive, okay, team bonuses, team incentive, trip, etc. Organization do also have organization-wide incentive scheme like bonuses for everyone if the company perform well, profit sharing scheme, okay, overseas trip, okay, for everybody, etc. Okay, so these are the different type of incentive scheme. So it is good that as HR people, you need to come up with more incentive scheme, because incentive scheme is discretionary, it's not fixed, and it's not mandatory, okay, and it doesn't add to the wage cost. Okay, so as HR, we should try to develop more incentive scheme in the company for the employees. And for incentive to be effective, okay, the incentive amount must be significant, a good proportion to the employee salary. Okay, don't try to give an incentive of $50 for doing something very well. Okay, some employee must put in a lot of effort, and then they find that, oh, at the end of the day, I only get $50. They may turn off, and they may not be motivated in future. So the incentive must be significant. It must be viewed as fair and equitable, okay, for their effort, the amount of effort that they put in, the hard work to achieve that. Okay, it must be deemed as fair. The incentive must be properly communicated to all employees. So if possible, okay, try to have incentive that is given to all employees and not only certain group. Then it will not be seen as fair. And incentive must be easily understood in terms of how it's being calculated, how it's being awarded, based on what criteria. These rules and so forth must be easily understood. It could not be too complicated. They should not, you should not have 3 pages of legal terms on the rules and regulations for incentive scheme, right? You get turned off by employees. It should be very short and simple so that it can gain employees' trust and confidence, and employees will work hard to achieve that. It has to be transparent and open to inspection by the employees. In case they question, why is this person got an incentive? Then the management has to justify and open up the reports or the records for inspection by other employees. All right, so don't hide, okay? So a lot of time, I know some incentive programs are hidden, they are designed, but they are not shared with employees. So many a times employees do start to spread rumors. Why is all these employees getting it year after year or month after month? Why is it not other people? Is it favoritism? All right, or what is the reason? They do not know. So this may not be good. Okay, then everybody will not participate, and then it becomes something worse off. Okay. The other areas that we look at very commonly is fringe benefits. Do not forget, fringe benefit is also part of compensation. Many people only look at salary allowances when they compute the payroll cost or wage cost. They don't look at the fringe benefits. Okay, imagine if every of the employees is given 20 days annual leave, and you have 100 people. Okay, so how many days lost to the company? What will be the cost? Okay, that is huge. So take a look at those as well. Sick leave, 14 days. Okay, times 100 people, okay, per year. How much will that be times the average daily wage. Okay. Or the insurance premium, the hospitalization benefits premium, etc. All these fringe benefits are cost to the company. Okay. So, but sometimes fringe benefits do help to retain employees because of the benefits that they get from the fringe. Okay. So some companies do offer benefits even to the employees' family members. And because of that, many employees stay with the company knowing that their family members are taken care of. Okay. So that helps in retention, even though it costs the company a lot, but it helps to stabilize the workforce. So take a look at fringe benefits. Try to give fringe benefits that doesn't add too much cost to the company, doesn't have to be carried forward to the next year, doesn't have to be encashed with the person resigned, okay, such as annual leave and so forth. You know, so things of fringe benefit that, you know, given year for year, if you don't consume this year, you'll be forfeited. Next year, you'll start brand new again. If you resign, it's not encashed. Things like that. This will be good. And also think of fringe benefits that will help improve the employees. For example, wellness program, keeping employees fit and healthy. And if they are fit and healthy, your medical costs will go down, your sick leave will go down, your productivity will go up, and that will benefit the company. If you look at something that is that helps employees, for example, in terms of e-learning, going for training, they get much better educated, then they will be more creative. Okay, they will be able to do more things, multitask. Okay, they'll take on more responsibility. Then you don't have to hire so many people, and that will be a benefit to the company. So look at all these benefits that will help the company. By giving employees these benefits, it will benefit the company in the long run. Look at all this. Okay. All right, so these are the various components of compensation which I touched on base salary, incentive, fringe benefits. All right. So if you have any question, feel free to ask. All right. If not, then I will continue. Flexible wage system. This is something that the government, Singapore government, has been advocating, asking companies to adopt a flexible wage system. What does that mean? It means that the Singapore wants company to have a flexible wage system that will better manage the wage cost of the company, provide greater job security for employees, and is a system that were able to respond to business situation in terms of downtime, recession. It can adjust the salary quickly. So the FWS, flexible wage system, FWS, comprises of two major areas. One is the monthly variable component, MVC. The MVC is putting aside a certain percentage of your monthly salary, set it aside so that it can be reduced, okay, by that percentage if the company is not doing well. So instead of retrenching employees, the company can cut your salary by that percentage. So far, the recommended is 10%. So you still get your monthly salary, let's say $1,000 a month, but in bad time, okay, the company can cut 10%, $100 from your basic salary, and you will only get $900 if the company is not doing well. But cutting salary will be one of the last few resort. It's not immediate. When company is not making a loss, only they cut salary. That is not right. Company has to implement the other cost-cutting measure first, like cutting expenses, cutting overtime, shorter working hours, okay, go on leaves. Then if all this doesn't help, then they cut the salary. And how much should they cut? The monthly variable components, which is 10%. After they cut the salary and companies makes money, then they will slowly add back the salary into the monthly variable components. Okay, it's complex system, but it's very helpful. Okay, because we know every few years, almost about 10 years, we will have a downturn. Okay, we have financial crisis, we have the SARS, okay, and then now the COVID. Okay, so you can see about every 10 years there will be a downturn. Okay, so be prepared. Try to introduce the NVC. It will be good for the company. It doesn't take away the employee's salary straight away. It's only taken away during bad time. And also the government advocate to introduce the other part of the FWS, that is the annual variable component. And this is the bonus. So they're encouraging companies to award performance bonus to employees. Many a time in the past, company don't award bonuses. They always give 1 month AWS, okay, the 13th month. But, okay, government is saying that, hey, you know, try to put the 13th month as part and parcel of the annual variable components. And if the companies do well, pay more bonuses. If the company doesn't do well, then pay less bonus or no bonus. Okay, so this will help retain and motivate employees. So these are the two components of the flexible wage system, MVC and AVC. If your company has not developed this, it is a good time to start now. And if you need help, you can always approach us. So I've talked about the NVC, where it is used to reduce employee salary during service downtime. And it's the recommended NVC percentage is 10%. And this should apply to all employees in the company, regardless of job grade or job level. So when it comes to cutting off salary, it means from top management, okay, the CEO, right down to the last person at the bottom, the cleaners and drivers and security guard, if they are your employees. Okay, and then when times are good, then you build up your NVC again through the salary increased. All right. Now, it is recommended, okay, that the components of your salary system for the rank and file, junior level, executive level, non-executive, 80% should be fixed salary component, okay, basic salary, fixed allowance, etc. And then 20% should be on bonuses. And in the 80%, there is the 10% for the monthly variable. Okay, for the middle management, 60 should be fixed, 40 should be variable. Okay, and out of the 60, 10% is the monthly variable again. And for senior management, the C level is 50-50, right? And also 10% of the 50 in the fixed will be the monthly variable components. So this is the recommendation from the Singapore government, and if you do not have this in your company, it's time to look at it and develop it before the next recession comes in about 8 to 10 years time. It's good to put it in practice now and build it up. So there's this question: how do we manage the wage cost to be competitive for employees and employers? Well, it's not a simple answer and not a straight answer that just by paying more. Okay, no. it takes a lot of things to do. One, your salary must be fair, equitable, okay, either internal and external. You have to look at a combination of other factors beside salary. You have to look at your fringe benefits. You have to look at your incentive. Okay. You also have to look at your work environments, okay, and so forth. So all this will help you to be more competitive, help you to attract talents, and be very careful not just to pay more and more to hire people. By thinking that if I pay $100 more, I will get talent. No, the competitor will also think the same thing, and they will offer another $100 more. And at the end, you will find people just moving around in musical chair, okay, going from one company to another, okay, but not contributing. Okay. Every 2 years, they will move from one company to another, and it doesn't gain much. Okay. It doesn't contribute much to the company, but the employees themselves, they get bigger and bigger salary package. Okay. So it's time that companies take a look at their compensation system and manage it properly. First, for the basic salary, make sure it's fair, make sure it is equitable, both internal and external. Manage it through capping. Okay. Reward employees through incentive like bonuses, merit increment, okay, instead of giving more salary. Okay. So that this will not build into their fixed cost of the company, fixed wages. Okay. So this is what you can do. You have to be creative. You have to find new way. So I know of companies, companies who have in the IT who have difficulty trying to hire IT people. Okay. They still pay according to market level. They did not fight with the competitor, but what they offer, okay, they didn't even offer the employees their expectation. If they know the employee was paid 5,000 in their company, they will offer them 5,000, even though the employee say, I want 6,000. They'll say, no, I will still offer you 5,000. But yet they're able to attract the employees of that person to join them because they offer a joining fee, a joining bonus. Okay, so they say, okay, if you want 6,000, fine, but I'll pay you 5,000. I will keep that 1,000 for 6 months. And during these 6 months, we will watch your performance. If you perform well in the first 3 months, we will pay you half. So instead of, okay, we will pay you half. We will keep that 1,000 for 6 months, and then we'll pay you half of it in 3 months if you perform well, and then another half in another 3 months. If you don't, then everything will be in 6 months. Okay, and then by then I will then increase our salary to 6,000 after 6 months. So in that way, they manage their wage cost, and they will know that they are getting good, high performer. If they don't get an employee that are contributing, then they will not pay the 6,000. So they don't incur any loss, okay, any increase in wage cost. So at the end, everybody benefits. So as HR people, you need to be creative. You need to think about the company as well as the employees, okay, and make sure that both parties benefit. So, any question? Does anybody needs help with developing a flexible wage system? If you have or you need, please reach out to us. Okay, you can either contact Uditi, drop us an email, or drop me an email, and we can talk to you and discuss, okay, how you can set up a flexible wage system in your company. It is good that you set up this system, okay, because government is encouraging, recommending it, and I won't be surprised in the next few years they will push harder for it, and then they will insist every company should have a flexible wage system. It is not difficult to implement the money variable components and the bonuses. Okay. Now, I have a little short quiz for you. I have 10 questions. Okay, if we still have the time, let's go through this quick question. Okay, so do not forget our next session next month on 15th of June for managing employees' performance. And also our one-day employment act cost on 7th July. So to register early if you're interested to join the session. And of course, lastly, if you have any issues, any question about HR, please join me tomorrow evening for Ask Me Anything session. The link is below. Click on it to register. And for leading practices, okay, do message us and we will send you our ebooks on guides how to improve. Okay, we have done one on employment contract, one on interviewing. So look out for more. Okay. Do connect with us. If you have any question, anything that you want to know, please get in touch with us. Right, with that, I'll open up to the floor if there's any question. If not, thank you.
Thanks, Maurice, for the very insightful session once again. I always enjoy coming for your sessions. And also thanks to everyone who have joined us, taken the time to join us today. Just if you have any last questions, do type them in the chat and Maurice is here to answer them. Or, we do have the Ask Me Anything session that will be held tomorrow, 7 to 8 p.m. Do join us if you'd like to ask any questions. And you also, at the same time, you're meeting other HR professionals in the same field. So you get to know other people as well. Also, there are these sessions, just to mention also, these are actually bi-weekly sessions. So they will be occurring. If you go to our LinkedIn page on the link, I put it in the chat as well. Under events, you can see all the Ask Me Anything sessions that will be held for the next few months as well. Feel free to join whenever your schedule permits. So I think that's all for today's session. Do connect with me. Let me know if you have any questions on HR or Maurice as well. And we hope to see you again in the future webinars. Thank you so much again for joining us.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.